In this video I will share 7 useful tips from Loish's first art book that are really valuable for anyone interested in learning to draw. I hope these tips will be helpful and that you'll go support Loish by getting this great art book for yourself. There's so much more inspiring content in this book. I just picked out what I found the most relevant for aspiring new artists to benefit from. And now let's dive into, in my opinion, the 7 best drawing tips from The Art of Loish, a look behind the scenes. Number 1. Remakes. Revisit an old piece of art and try to recreate it with the skills you've practiced over the years and see how much you've improved since then. It's a simple advice but so very effective when you compare the old drawing to the new. Number 2. Regular sketching. Find something that you love to draw and sketch every day. If you start to get bored with it, find something to draw that gives you the same feeling of excitement. If you can't come up with a unique idea of your own, then draw from references, study anatomy, environments or colors. Or try character design, new styles and just experiment. But keep a good work pace and don't dwell at the sketch too long. Number 3. Sketching and studies. Sketching is generally about building technical skills and practicing. But it also allows you to experiment and try out new things as well as escaping the pressure of creating a finished piece. Sketching roughly and quickly is a great way to explore ideas, expressions and color combinations without needing to get into tiny details. Number 4. Color studies. When studying colors, you'll learn which works well and how they interact. When studying different skin tones, you'll notice that some have saturated and warm highlights and others more cooler and softer highlights. Highlights and shadows seem to have the most impact on how a color is experienced. Number 5. Exaggerate. Just by changing the color scheme, you can achieve a more interesting, surprising and personalized interpretation in your art. Take the normal color combination from the reference and exaggerate it. Step away from the realistic look and experiment with the color palette. Number 6. Sketching characters. Keep the process simple by using basic shapes. Leave the details for later. Quickly and efficiently you can create a variety of angles by sticking to the fundamental forms. To accentuate the expression or movement of the face, you can use the squash and stretch animation principle. When sketching a figure, you should also use basic shapes to find out the pose, movement and proportions, along with some directional lines to indicate the angles of the figure. To create a sense of movement, you can draw exaggerated directional lines by the hips, arms, or the curve of the back. Number 7. Hair. When learning to draw hair, just start with focusing on simplified shapes and basic directions. This way you can define the volume and size first. Use highlights, midtones and shadows to define both color and texture of the hair. For a more natural look, add some strands and loose strands, as well as balancing hard shadows, blending and some smoothing highlights. Not many people interested in art and drawing haven't heard of the talented Dutch artist called Loish, or Louis van Baal. This book here, called The Art of Loish, a look behind the scenes, is her first book, published back in 2016 by 3D Total Publishing.